Russian troops have entered the outskirts of the eastern Ukrainian city of Sievierodonetsk. Luhansk region governor Serhiy Haidai said on Monday that Russian forces are advancing in the city's southeastern and northeastern fringes. This Ukrainian soldier on patrol near the town of Bakhmut, southwest of Sievierodonetsk, spoke of a nagging fear that his government could be drawn into negotiating an end.
Ukrainian forces were still holding out in Sievierodonetsk on Tuesday, resisting Russia's all-out assault to capture a bombed-out wasteland that Moscow has made the principal objective of its invasion in recent days. Both sides said Russian forces now controlled between a third and half of the city. Russia's separatist proxies acknowledged that capturing it was taking longer than hoped, despite one of the biggest ground assaults of the war. Western military analysts say Moscow has drained manpower and firepower from across the rest of the front to concentrate on Sievierodonetsk, hoping a massive offensive on the small industrial city will deliver something Russia can call a victory in one of its stated aims in the east. "We can say already that a third of Sievierodonetsk is already under our control," Russia's TASS state news agency quoted Leonid Pasechnik, the leader of the pro-Moscow Luhansk People's Republic, as saying. Fighting was raging in the city, but Russian forces were not advancing as rapidly as might have been hoped, he said, claiming that pro-Moscow forces wanted to maintain the city's infrastructure and were moving slowly because of caution around chemical factories. The Ukrainian head of the city administration, Oleksandr Stryuk, said the Russians now controlled half of the city. Unfortunately, the city has been split in half. But at the same time, the city still defends itself. "It is still Ukrainian," he said, advising those still trapped inside to stay in cellars.
My village is under occupation. The entire population is under occupation. They are firing. There is shelling. There is fighting somewhere. An occupation regime is being established.
Ukraine says Russia has destroyed all of the city's critical infrastructure with unrelenting bombardment, followed by wave after wave of mass ground assault involving huge numbers of casualties. Thousands of residents remain trapped. Russian forces are advancing towards the city center, but slowly, and have not succeeded in encircling the Ukrainian defenders holding out there. Regional Governor Serhiy Haidai told Ukrainian television there did not appear to be a risk of Ukrainian forces being encircled, though they could ultimately be forced to retreat across the Sievierodonetsk River to Lysychansk, the twin city on the opposite bank. Stryuk, head of the city administration, said evacuating civilians was no longer possible. Authorities cancelled efforts to evacuate residents after an attack on Monday that killed a French journalist. Jan Egeland, Secretary-General of the Norwegian Refugee Council aid agency which had long operated out of Sievierodonetsk, said he was horrified by its destruction. "We fear that up to 12,000 civilians remain caught in the crossfire in the city, without sufficient access to water, food, medicine, or electricity. The near-constant bombardment is forcing civilians to seek refuge in bomb shelters and basements, with only a few precious opportunities for those trying to escape." Elsewhere on the battlefield, there were few reports of major action on Tuesday.
Want to defend Ukraine, not for Zelensky, but for Ukraine. And if we're told, that's it, we have a ceasefire, we negotiate peace terms, it would be...
In the east, Ukraine says Moscow is trying to assault other areas along the main front, including pressing towards the city of Sloviansk. In the south, Ukraine claimed in recent days to have pushed back Russian forces on a bank of the Inhulets River that forms a border of Russian-held Kherson province.